Okay, welcome, my brother. Welcome to Obunuma TV. Yes, you know how the whole thing is like. We are always making sure that we are advocating Africa, the world, and everything about our culture, our heritage, our tradition, and all that depend on how we can grow as one people, not only blacks, but the world at large. Yes, it is very important. That's why we are holding this interview all the way from UK. Yes, I have my man in the house who happens to be a very long-time friend, who is a holder, degree holder of divinity. When we come to the scriptures, spirituality, Africa, he's one of the best. Yes, he's here to abreast us with what we need to know about our culture, religion, and all that. There's a lot of distortions about these whole things. What are we as Africans? What do we stand for as Africans? Are we borrowing the Western culture to become who we are, or we are looking at our own culture or our own tradition, our own spirituality as Africans to become who we are? That is why today I have one prominent man in the house who happens to be a big man. I don't know how to mention the name. I want you to mention the name yourself for our viewers out there to know the full name and what you stand for and where you are in UK right about now.
All right. Greetings to everyone, to all that tune into your show. My name is Nee Mansour Solomon. Nee Mansour Solomon. I'm from Ghana. I'm a Ghana by birth. Yeah, and now I'm in the UK, Leeds precisely.
Okay.
So at least this is what I can say for now.
That's cool. That's all we want to hear, and it's very good and privileged to have you with us today. You've been in UK for how many years now?
About 5 years, yeah.
And
I've been here for the past 5 years.
5 years. Then you are a big time guru in UK now, and you know everything about UK. My brother, this is Obunuma TV.
Not really, not really. I don't know everything about UK, yeah.
This is Obunuma TV, and this is up close with Nee Mansour Solomon. My brother, there's a lot here in Ghana. A lot is happening in Ghana. Ghanaians, a lot is happening globally. You can see a lot is happening globally. This COVID-19 thing that came about, that brought standstill to businesses and all that. How was the feeling like in UK when you were? I knew you didn't come to Ghana when the whole kabudo was going on with this whole gaga about COVID-19. How was it like in UK?
Well, I would talk about myself personally. Then I couldn't talk about the UK. So myself, from the beginning, I thought of this thing as a joke, you know. When you read the conspiracy theories, when you listen to the media, it becomes a little bit difficult for you to come out with a very strong stance as to what is happening. Yeah, I prayed. I actually seek to really go through the process to feel how it is, so that I wouldn't just be talking about it, but I would have an experience of it when I'm talking about COVID. And then so personally, what I say is, for what we know, and this is not about speculations or what, it's about personal experience. This is, to me, a virus, okay, which it's as 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 equal, the same as any other virus that comes once in a lifetime. While as the world grows, saying new things are introduced into the system. I wouldn't want to go through the tangent where people are saying it is your fault, it is his fault, and it's that. Because everything that has happened on this earth has to come out of a cause, right? But this is the real thing. I had it for about 1 month, and then I really felt how it is. I decided I'm not going to kill myself with any Western medicine. I don't want to touch myself with anything. I just want to leave myself for this virus to take care of this body. I would just sit back and then see. If it takes this body away, that is okay. But if it doesn't, then I'll learn a lot, and I have. And what I have learned out of this is the virus is not here to kill us, just as any organism. I can say that about 70% of a human cell are not actually human cells, they are organisms. Human cells are made up of about 30% of our body. But when a new organism or new life tries to find a habitat in this very life, because it is new, it has to struggle. The body, the antigens need to struggle. It needs to find its space. And how hard or how difficult if it finds its space within this biological body, that is what we call sickness. That is what we call pain. Well, so in my own healing process, what I did to myself is I'm giving myself to this virus. I didn't invite it, it came by itself. Let it find a space it wants so that it lives and leaves me alone.
That is it. That is it.
And yeah, and that is it. So I never, it's not anything about overcoming a virus. It is about trying to find its habitat to live with it. Because that which never kills, what strengthens. That's it. All right. So this is my personal experience. Now about the UK. UK is just like UK. Everything's like the UK weather, right? It changes by the time. It could rain right now, and it could shine. Sun will be up within the next few minutes.
Wow.
And that is how these people are. Today they say this, today they say that, tomorrow they say that. Even I say tomorrow, today in the morning they will say this, and in the afternoon it's a new thing. And it becomes law because people are tuned to listening only to what the government says.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. Everybody goes just according. At least 90% of us are so much stick to what Boris Johnson says.
Yeah. Yeah.
So exactly. So you see the lockdowns, you see all of a sudden we are out of lockdown, we go back again, we do this, we do that. They are there, they keep recording the numbers to just frighten us so that we will conform to the norms. And it has been very nice. I could say that the UK has been very, very good in terms of taking good care or going through what to take care of what is happening in the UK in connection with the COVID. They've really done their best.
Wow.
I can say that.
They've done their best, really, because you are still alive. That is what is most important. You are still alive. They said it is here to stay. That's what they are saying. They say the disease is here to stay. So we have to side with them and make sure that we take all the necessary precautions so that it will not start escalating again to cause a lot of lives as it did in the past. My brother, welcome once again. This is Ogbonoma TV. Though, you know, we do our local account here. And I know you've been in the UK for long, and the Akan language is kind of, you know, if I say, oh, you are done, that one you can say a lot about that because you are Gan. You are Gan, 100% Gan, or you have other affiliations there.
Well, so I'm a Ga Dangbi, right?
Mm.
I'm a Ga Dangbi from Pong,
Boom.
and primarily Pong is a Dangbi community.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but as we speak now, we do majority of our things in Ga. So I call myself a typical Ga Dangbi. I'm not Ga and I'm not Dangbi. I'm
Mm.
just a Ga Dangbi man.
A Ghanaian, to be precise, an African, to be precise.
That's it. You're
That is
right.
it. That is it. That is it. Bro, we're about to start our main discussion. We are talking about our religion, our culture as Africans, and that one that we borrowed from other people. I didn't say we borrowed, they brought it to us. Like the rest, we have to do it whether we like it or yes, and we adopted it and we are going well with it. And to start it all, they say mirror, mirror. What I know is mirror is something that reflects something that is opposite it. Isn't that?
Mm.
That is what mirror is. It is a reflection of something. So if you stand in front of a mirror, you see the reflection of you, who you are. So you being a degree holder in divinity, when we say a man in a mirror, what are they trying to say? A man in the mirror. What does that refers to?
Okay. I think this theme I coined it, right? I
Mm,
coined it,
mm,
and it is to do with the African.
mm,
Okay. So let me give you a background,
mm,
and to all my listeners, I would like to say that this section is not has nothing to do with debate, has nothing to do with um, it is true, it is not true, or that. No, it has everything to do with what I call self identity, self knowledge, and self development.
yeah.
These are the three things that I have always spoken about. I have gone on several platforms to talk about,
Mm,
and it is all about identity, knowledge, and then development.
mm,
Identity is how do you identify yourself? Who do you see yourself to be? When I ask you, who are you? All right,
yeah.
what can you say? And then if you get to know who you are, then you will seek to know much more. If you identify yourself as to who you are, then you will seek to know more about yourself. When you seek to know more about yourself, what do you use that for? It
Mm,
helps you to develop all the facets of life,
mm,
all the aspects of life that makes you who you are,
mm,
right?
yeah.
So I coined this theme as the man in the mirror. The man in the mirror has to do or does with our consciousness, our mind, how we see things. And if I come to you, if I want to come to you to talk about something that I think it's more important to your life, and I bring you a very new thing, a very new object to help you understand yourself, it becomes a burden, all right? Because you have to now learn what I have brought and all of that. But we try, or I try to get closer to my people with what they already have, okay? So that we would use what they have and then show them exactly what it is.
Mm,
If they know it already, then we are good to go. If they do not know it, then we have to tell them that this is what it is, so they could use it very well. When you look at the Bible says that I cannot quote precisely with those verses, but it says that so far as you are a child, you are no different from a slave. Okay. So far as you're a child and you're a royal, you are still no different from a slave.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't matter whoever you are. And who is a child? A child is someone who do not know. He needs to be taught. He needs to be sent. Everything, he needs to be fed. Okay. So far as you are within this level or this group of persons called children or a child, it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter what you've been given. It doesn't matter your status. You would always act as a slave until you grow to become an adult. Who is an adult? An adult is a seeker who leaves every other thing and says, I'm taking it on myself to discover myself and live my life.
Yeah. Okay. It's all about discovery, knowing yourself. Definitely. I love the team. I love the team, the man in the mirror. So you look at yourself in the mirror, you have to discover yourself as who you are. Yes, you knowing your identity, knowing your roots, because they say a tree without a root is not a tree. And every citizen of a country, before you know yourself, you have to know your culture and your tradition before you can become a real citizen of a country or a tribe or ethnicity, because we deal in that here in Africa. We deal with that here in Africa. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, share, comment, like, and don't forget to hit on the notification bell. You will see an icon that will pop up. You will write all, click on the all bell, and any video that we drop, you will get one, and you will, just like the one we are about to drop you right now. Neiman Solomon is very, very deep in what we are coming to speak about. Yes. Mr. Nee, we're still talking about we Africans here. You're talking about knowing yourself as your identity, who you are, where you're coming from. To know yourself, it will deal with your religion, your spirituality, what you are made up of. When we look at the African context, how do you call ourselves as Africans when it comes to spirituality? What is it that Africans have to know about our spirituality?
All right. So the question is, what is spirituality?
Yeah, in the African context. So we'll come and look at it openly to the whole generality of you knowing what spirituality is all about. I want to start it with the African context. If you can chip in with generally what spirituality is all about, we are good to go. But I want to look at the African spirituality itself first.
Okay. So that is what I was saying. Truth is always true. You don't have Western truth and African truth.
Yeah.
Spirituality cannot be African or Western. It is just spirituality. I think what you're trying to say is, how do Africans see their spirituality?
Yeah.
In which form do Africans connect to their spirituality?
That is
so
what I mean.
I would like to give what spirituality means. Then I'll come on to how the African relates to it.
Thank you.
So being a spiritual person, or spirituality, means realizing the oneness of everything. Realizing your oneness to everything. So the very moment you get to know that you are no different from the dog, you are not different from the tree, you are not different from the skies and the stars and the sea and the ocean, you are very close to be a spiritual seeker. All right. Let us not forget that everyone on earth, everything on earth has a spiritual backing. We are all descendants of the spirit.
Yeah.
So when you go into the spiritual realm, we don't have black, we don't have red, we don't have yellow, we don't have blue, we don't have white. We have just what you call the energy, one energy that works in different forms. Okay. All right. So let's come to the African spirituality. It is believed there are a whole lot of books, that tells the African or the whole world that the first man, the first Homo sapien to appear on this plane as the earth is the black man. Okay. It is out of this black man that different forms of man came out of. Okay.
That's by Charles Darwin, if I could remember. He brought something like that about Africans, the ape, which is the first creature, according to Charles Darwin.
Personally, I don't believe we came out from apes.
that is what they said. So you were talking about books. We were talking about, there are a lot of books that was talking about we Africans and how we originated.
Yeah, and
all that.
Please, your Charles Darwin is okay. I respect him. He's one of the top notch. But I wouldn't, with my spirituality, to connect my humanness to that of an ape.
Yeah,
I respect the ape very well, but when we come to this body, my human body, I don't expect it to come out of the body of an ape. I expect my body to be created as my body from the beginning, and that is the African.
yeah.
So no African came out of ape, and a whole lot of books have debunked that. We only know that we progressed in so many ways. That is what I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me take it from there. This African, in order for him to be able to live on earth and subdue the earth to its own preferences, was aided, was helped by outside world entities. Entities that have once lived on this earth, have once trod on this plane and has moved on. Okay. Yeah. So there are books, there are teachings that tells you that there were beings that came from what you call the red planet, okay, called the Osiris, that came down and then thought human beings, we call these beings the norm, the norm. They came in so many forms and they taught human beings how to live on this plane. They taught us how to write. They taught us how to farm. They taught us even higher technological advances in Africa.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So this is where our spirituality started. Okay.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot from these entities, which gave us the opportunity to be able to link our humanly body whilst we are within this body to these entities that once came here and then had what do you call it? A life. They experienced a life with us here. So this is how the African sees each spirituality. We call those that came from their world, today we call them deities. We see them as deities. So in Ghana, we call them Jemawaji. Jemawaji. Okay.
So in Akan, we say Abosonfo, or how do you in Akan? So we can term it in Akan as Abosonfo ana Yanananum, because in Akan they have Yanananum ana they have
no. I
want to get that clear.
I understand Akan, but I can't speak, right?
Yeah.
If you say it, I can understand, but I can't speak. And this is real. Everyone who knows me knows I do understand, but I can't speak
Yeah.
Akan.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we're doing this interview in English, because like I'll push you to the word to speak more of the Akan, since you can't speak the Akan, and it is knowledge and language breach barriers. So people will definitely understand what we're talking about.
but Ga can do more as well, because Ga is also well understood by so many people right here in the UK and in Ghana. So we can, when I use my Ga, definitely people are gonna get to understand. All right. So I would try to use more of English words that I could use. I can't to pronounce. I will, but I would so much stick to my God dang language
Mm.
if that's not going to work.
Mm.
So these entities that came down to have communion with African or the people, the people of the land at that time. Okay, um, we call them Dimawojin. The Gans call them Dimawojin or deities. All right.
Mm.
When these deities came, they left with us tools, equipment, processes, and procedures to do that which they did while they were here with us.
Mm.
Okay. These tools, we call them gods,
Mm.
right? Call
Yeah.
them gods, and what we call them wajin, wajin, right?
Oh, Jane. Okay.
Okay, or
Which which
wong,
which means deity.
obusum,
Yeah.
obusum.
Or
Now
bosom. Yeah.
you call it obusum.
Yeah. Bosom. That is it.
Yeah, that is what we call wong. There are tools that were left with us by this norm, by these extraterrestrial beings. Okay, so that is the second level of how we relate to our spirituality.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then we also believe that those that this norm came to meet on earth, those that learn, our ancestors that lived as humans and learned all this craft from these beings,
Mm.
they've got some sort of knowledge that they've taken to the afterworld.
Yeah.
And anytime at all that we invoke them, they come back to help us with such knowledge to help us live and live with a full-fledged life on this plane.
Mm.
Them, we call them what cheme, kawanyeme, as he said. That's what the English says, our ancestors.
Yes, our ancestors. So we when we talking this, can we relate this to religion? So first of all, I would love to ask you what you mean your understanding of religion before we link that to religion, because I would like to know how we can define the indigenous African religion itself, because it is linked to what you are talking about now. If there is deity, abosom, ancestors, this is linked to our indigenous religion as Africans.
Sure. Yeah. So just as I said, when I said the man in the mirror,
Mm.
there are numerous books, several historical textbooks, which tells you what happened some thousands of years back,
Mm.
where the blacks, normally what we call them the Moors, they also came from the land of the black. They were very, very advanced human beings.
Yeah.
They learned a lot from these entities. They lived a life that today we can see in the West. And this test tells us that they came down to the Western.
Mm.
They were able to overcome the Western side of the world.
Mm.
And then they introduced their form of worship to the higher self, to these societies,
Mm.
until the Greeks and the Romans then conquered these Moors. They then adapted that which the Moors brought with them. The learning how to link to the higher self, they adapted it, and then they place it in a book. They then put it in a story form.
From Africans. They learned all these from Africans who are our ancestors.
Every aspect of religion, every aspect of spirituality has nothing to do with the white man or the Western man. Everything was 100% copied from us. If we could just, that is why from the beginning I said that I would not want to use books or things that are not common to the African. I would want to use things that are common to the African to make it much more easier. So let me use the Bible or the Quran, because 90% of Africans have the Bible or the Quran. All right. So what happened was, when these people were subdued, the Moors were subdued, and then the Romans took over, they then took exactly a replica of that of the Moors, and then used their own stories to what? Protect the knowledge that the Moors brought. At that time, most cannot read or write. It is not like today when everybody can read, or majority can read or write. So they use that to preserve the knowledge that they got, because it was very, very precious, right?
Yeah.
When there was this, what you call democracy, where everyone has to get access to information, they were so much afraid to just leave the knowledge in the public space like that. So they protected it. They placed it. If you look at our Bible, it is written in white paper with black ink, covered with black cover. That is what it all meant. It all meant that I have given you back what belonged to you, what is all about you, but in a story form, in a way that you cannot easily understand. However, I have given it to you. You have, and the same as the Quran, you have no excuse to say that they drew or they hid or they sieved the knowledge that they got from your ancestors. They gave all back to you, but they gave it in an allegorical statement. They gave it in a story form, which until you are taught, you would always hurt yourself with their stories. So I say that the Bible is just like a mirror. The Quran is just like a mirror to the African to see himself in it. And everything about the African and the African spirituality are embedded in these two books. I'm using these two, because these are the books that are much more closer to the African. Okay, it is equal or same with other so-called religious textbooks, but with the African, the Quran and the Bible are what we so much believe in. What I'm calling for right now is for the African to really know and understand how this book is written, so that when they take it, they don't see it as a Christian book again. They see it as their book, because there's nowhere in the Bible that is written either on the Bible or in the Bible. There's nowhere in the Quran or on the Quran that is written, this book is for these people. No, they took it and they made it their own to guide their religion.
Yeah. We'll come to that, Mr. Nee, we'll come to that, but we still with we Africans, as our tradition depicts who we are. How did our ancestors really played role in our real traditional society to make us realize who we are? If they are able to do that, I think all these discrepancies about this Bible and the Quran thing will not come to play. How did they, the role they played in our traditional society? How did they play their roles as ancestors in our traditional society?
Well, if I get your question right, I would say that our ancestors played a very critical role in our growth, in our spiritual growth on earth. And it is not only to the African or those who live on the African land today, but it spread all across the globe, all across the universe. It is that which our ancestors taught in the schools, in the courts, in the temples, right? That really shaped the spiritual movement or the spirituality, how to get to that level in your life and say, look, I've lived this full-fledged life, right? So they played a very strong role. For example, it is clear, it is known that almost all the pyramids that were built across the earth, across from Africa to Asia to Europe, all that where you will see any pyramids or high, tall, big buildings were built by these Black ancestors of ours. They got this kind of art from these extraterrestrial beings. They got this kind of knowledge from the normal that visited them. And this kind of normal amongst us has got so many names. I wouldn't want to go into those kind of intricacies. I think today's discussion would have to do with the surface, okay?
Yeah.
To just bring to light that we are what is written in these books, and all that is written there were put together by our ancestors.
Yeah.
And then was taken to Europe, where I am now, which was coined, which was wrapped in a story from and brought to us back in Africa.
Wow. And which means they added some taste to the things that they took from here. They also added what they really want us to do. It's like slavery, just as you said. So they put certain texts in there to make us look more slaves than we were, as they came for what we taught them as people from the West. So can you tell us what is the state of our indigenous tradition now before we move to the Bible and the Quran? What is our state now? Looking at how things are going, how can we say our traditional, our indigenous African culture, how is it now as I'm talking to you?
All right, so you see, as you're sitting there right now, there is nothing, there is absolutely nothing I could tell you about yourself that you would wake up tomorrow morning to find out whether it is true or not. If you are hungry, you would always want to take care of your what you call this, or your survival process.
Yeah.
Humans are wired in a form that they always have to take care of their survival process, where what will allow them live in their body here before they take care of what is left, their spirituality, and how to connect with their own selves on our land, is to destroy our survival. If I destroy your survival process, 100%, I've weakened your spiritual process. So what is happening to the African now is that we have been weakened through this slavery, through this colonization, through this neo-colonization, has weakened things that help us to survive as humans. So instead of we focusing on our spirituality, we have no time for it. We are now bent on how to survive, and our spirituality get rotten, get destroyed, whilst they who caused this are going on so much with their spirituality. That is what has happened to the African.
So, which means they have spirituality. They borrowed ours to make theirs so concrete. Is that what you're telling us? They had their spirituality, which was very important to them, but they came here as Africans to take ours, merge it with their own, and they are becoming superior over us.
The white, what you call life on earth, all right, the life on earth, how it began, how it is is taught by the black, by the African, who is called the African today, all right.
Yeah.
We there are no tests that really tells us about white man's spirituality, how he developed it. All the texts that comes out spoke about the black man, the land of the black, how they did it. And then these blacks were not taken to here by the white as through colonialism, but they came here through their power, through their advancement, and they subdued this land here because I'm living here. And then after these people, the landowners subdued them back and then took their knowledge, okay? And then this knowledge is what is brought back to us in Africa again, but in a way that we would never recognize it. You would only recognize it when you are an initiate, all right? You only recognize it when you are in a sect. Let me give you an example. Even in Africa, they tried to put up things that can at least save the real knowledge of ourselves, and then that is why you see the chiefs, the queens, the Asafwacheme, right, the Wulome, those people are stationed so that at least if everyone cannot remember ourselves, these people can at least keep the authenticity of our processes as to how we connect to ourselves, our higher selves. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm just trying to say is, and bear it in mind, in this my rendition of what has been said so many years and so many times, it is not to play a blame game, right?
Yeah.
I'm not playing any blame game to say that the white did this to us or the blue did this to the African. What I'm trying to say is that what we need to live as who we ought to be is with us now.
Yeah.
And it has been with us for a long time. And until we grow to become matured, we'll always live this way.
Yeah.
And that is where we are now.
So there's nothing there is nothing that we can do as Africans to change the whole perspective here. Is that what you're telling us? There's nothing we can do. We have to live with the situation just as it is.
So there is a lot that we can do, and it's very simple. That is, we need to build up the structures of our economy.
Yeah.
We need to provide food, shelter, all right? And there are ways that our ancestors did it. A lot of things that we are doing back in Africa are the ways of the white man. And we do not know it to that extent, so we are always fumbling about it. Our educational systems, our whatever, do not conform to what can at least keep us on that plane. And so we go back to take the tools that were given to us by our ancestors to take care of our survival process. Our spirituality will be in shambles. And that is it. Again,
all right.
And again, if we are able to take care of that, then the black man will turn solely to the belief or the knowing of his ancestors. And then When then I come to you and I take the same book that was brought to you, and I tell you that read this very chapter, read this very verse. You see what they say there? This is what they are telling you. This is what they are saying about you. And I can show you that, you see, go to your father's house, go to your ancestral home, and see if you wouldn't see all that is said in this verse in your ancestral home. They are there. They are written on our walls. They are in our books. They are everywhere around us. In everywhere, these things are just there because we lived a life. Can you imagine a life, a spiritual life lived for thousands of years amongst that became a normal life, right? So they are in signs, they are in drawing, they are in writings all around us. Okay, if I happen to come from a royal family from Ghana, and I have seen things that happen in our royal home, and I have read the Bible with the understanding of what it is, and I could see that it is just like I have the whole Bible in my backyard as a royal home, and it is same everywhere. But you see, it is so much delicate, it is so much precious that you can't throw it, you can't throw such knowledge to the hungry. You can't throw such knowledge to the one who is not ready. He would destroy it. He would not even accept it. He would never ever do anything about it until you are able to make him okay in the stomach where to lay his head and how to, in short, if you're able to show the black man or any human being the way to get his survival needs met, then then you can talk about other things. And that is it. So for me, yes, I can go on and tell you we have to do this, or if you read this side in the Bible, this is what it says about you, this is what it says about, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't even do that on a Zoom. All right. I've got my own small groups that we have our learning, and I know such people are in to identify themselves, to know themselves, and to develop with the knowledge they get.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Wow. Wow. So you've taken us deep, though. So let's come to the Quran and the Bible perspective here. Are they words from God Almighty, Jehovah? We call him Allah in Islam. They call him God in Christianity. There are a lot of names for him. We call him Nyame, Nyankopon, a lot of names. As you know, African spirituality or African tradition is plural, but it varies a lot. There's variety in our tradition, though it is plural. There are many, but they differ in ethnicity, our native culture, our tradition. All of these things varies a lot. So I'm asking, are the words or the text in the Quran and the Bible God's words? Are they coming from God?
Oh yes, they are.
So explain how is it that we are seeing that okay, what they brought us was not 100% accurate, as some scholars are saying that it's not accurate. They came here, as you started by saying, they came here to learn a lot from us. They went out there to use it, and they are who they are today. You understand? And they brought us a book that is telling us things that blacks are, which they were able to keep documentary of. I don't know how they did that. That's why I'm asking, are they words from God? I need a little explanation before we go deep into it. Are those words from God, and how will you know it is from God?
All right. So, and I would like you to understand this. If we say God, it is not a he or a she. It is not something that, it's not a man and a woman living in the sky. or sitting down somewhere who is instructing people or who is looking down on the earth and saying, hey, you today, you blah, blah. No, right? The Quran never said that. The Bible never said that. But I tell you that both the Quran and the Bible are written in a story form to tell to convey a particular knowledge, right? Their style of writing, how they wrote it, is so much beautiful, my brother. If you are lucky, to get to know how these people, because trust me, it took a whole lot of time for them to compile this. And if you see how they really orchestrated the whole thing, how they enveloped it, how they put the story together, you would love it. You will so much enjoy these books more than. So what it is if you get to know this knowledge, you have to go back and read the Bible again, and you see it as a new book. Okay. All right.
You know, we have a text in the Bible. We know we have the 5 books from Moses, which is the beginning of the Bible. That is how it is. And we have the Gospel of Jesus Christ, which Matthew and Cole wrote. But when you look at the first 5 books of Moses, it is talking about, and we call it Torah in Islam. We have Torah, we have Zabur, which is Psalm, which is David, and we have the Gospel of Christ that is in the Quran, which is talking about some text in the Quran, which is the first 5 books of Moses, which there are a lot of I don't know, confusion in there. Is it distortion or confusion about how the book was written and all that? You know, God's words is concrete. At those times, people didn't know how to write, most especially when it comes to our Prophet Muhammad, who is the leader, the Prophet of Islam. He was not able to write, but he had his disciples or his subordinates, his caliphs who know how to write. So they were writing on palm, how do you call it, palm leaf. They were writing on stones and other things. After he died, they came to put all those things together, just like our Prophet Moses, who also did the same in the mountain of Sinai. He did the same. There are a lot of things. When you look at the Genesis in the Bible, you understand me? There's a place in Genesis that said that God created man and woman in his own image. You understand me? And later he said, God created man and he created woman from the rib of Adam. You see? So there is a lot. And when you come to Noah, when God decided to destroy the world, when there was a lot of, infirmity, there was a lot of sin and all that, in the Bible said he used 40 days. In another text, he's telling us that he used 100 and over days. So there's a lot in there. And you see, when it comes to the Quran, I want you to get me deep into it so that our listeners out there, don't forget, you watching Obunoma TV, and we are talking to a very great man who is a degree holder in divinity. When we say divinity, he knows the real source of religion, spirituality, and all that. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment, and hit the notification bell so that we are good to go.